Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Away Goodness podcast. We have got the whole gang back. Hi Deepak, hi Arun, hi Ellen.
Oh, hello.
Hi guys.
So that's a back-to-back victory against Crystal Palace and Chelsea. So that proves, Arun, you should never ever predict a win for Arsenal.
I will never do that. I told you already.
I'm
never going to predict a win ever again.
No,
Yeah.
next season in our pod, we are banning prediction.
No.
Keep on making predictions.
No. Actually, Arun should predict, and Arun should predict a loss. That's when we will win. So that's the superstition that we are going to go in. But today's game was kind of different. We kind of dominated in the first half completely, and then took the pedal, like took our foot off the gas completely, and let Crystal Palace dominate. And then last moment there was all these hurry and we won. So I'll start with Deepak, especially because it was a Pepe show today. I usually go to Arun for Pepe, but he's already happy, so I wanted someone else to
get in my face.
Thing is, I didn't watch the game with my full concentration. So I just saw the
excuses when Pepe plays, no one watches.
Yeah, because he plays well when it doesn't matter. That's the thing.
We still have a chance of getting into Europe.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Today
We don't want
West
to
Ham
get
won.
into the Conference League nonsense.
No, I think we still have a chance for Saint Anthony's Day, right?
Yeah, Saint Nottingham's Day. Yeah, we are going to have.
We still have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, we will have. It's either. Brendan Rodgers have to bottle like he usually does, or Spurs have to bottle. Who's the biggest bottler is going to be the decider of whether we have Saint Nottingham's Day or not. But
I think these guys, Leicester wanted more because of their top 4 position. So I think they'll go all out because with Poole, they have everything equal on level.
But then also, you guys are forgetting one crucial part of it, which is Arsenal should win against Brighton. And Arsenal.
That's the second thing. That's the second thing.
Arsenal plays not only against Brighton, but itself. So Arsenal has to win against Arsenal first, then Arsenal has to win against Brighton. But
Brighton has just come back from defeating City.
That happens once in a while. City has won the league, so they just
it was a record. No, it was like they were having around 23 or 24 games undefeated in away games, right?
No, I think
they
it was
broke
12
that.
games. 12 games or 13 games.
No.
Undefeated
away game.
Yeah, 12 games away wins, continuous away wins. That was the record
that was broken, right? That was broken yesterday.
It is already a record. What they did is already a record. So that's why. But did you guys have any? I'll start with Arun then. Regarding the starting lineup, did you have any concerns or any questions about the starting lineup? Like
for the
Crystal Palace game.
Crystal, no. I mean, I thought the team that we have and possibly the people who are going to be continuing with us for the next year were given a chance. And I wasn't really surprised with the team selection. I was happy to see both Saka and Pepe play. Many people might complain about Martinelli not starting, but come on, he came in when it was required. And right now with his physical fitness, probably he's good enough for 60 minutes. And he did come in at a point where we needed a change and he made the difference. So really, I'm not worried. It was probably the lineup that I expected. If Xhaka is not available, then the better thing to do is maybe play Mo rather than Ceballos, and that's what was happening today. So
people were talking about playing Aziz instead of Mo.
No, let's play with who we have first. Aziz, he has the preseason and all that. He's fucking 17 years old. Let's get real here, Aziz is not going to be able to help us win games at 17. Let's get real. He might be a superstar there. We saw how big of a fish Eddie was in the underage groups, and he's struggling. So I wouldn't I don't see the point of giving a chance to a 17-year-old right now. When we can win games and we still are in the mix, for at least Tottenham's, I wouldn't want to take a chance with that by giving a chance to Aziz and messing him.
Whenever I hear the term Tottenham's, it just makes me smile.
Yeah.
automatically, right? but Ellen, when the game started, actually, there was a foul on Tierney. I thought that was a red card, but it was not given. But then again, when Benteke did the whole thing on Saka and he kind of confronted Elneny, that was not again given. So, do you think either of those was a red card offense? Because I thought it was a red card offense.
Yeah, again, each referees have their own way of looking at rules, and like the only thing we have to see here is whether he was consistent across the game, and like he was consistent across the game. So that's how I think it. Like even like when others was happening, right? Like there was like not much happening. See, so in that way, right, it is best. And even if you take the Chelsea Leicester game, where there was a big fight and everything, and you didn't see any red card after that also. So I think like some consistency, like I'm seeing across. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, but still, like the concern is that the commentators kind of commented that because it happened in the first minute of the game or first few minutes of the game, it's an yellow card, and then that is still. I know it's an interpretation, but again, how could a foul that happens in the first couple of minutes not be a red carded offense, but a foul that happens later in the game could be a red carded offense? Right, that is something that I don't know.
That is not something I agree also. Like, but like even in our pod, like we have also said like various times, like if it was not the first 10 minutes, they would have given him the red card. Like, so that is happening, but that is not correct.
I don't think the first one was really a red. Like I don't think the first one usually no one gives a red for that. Of course, it was a challenge that need not be made, but I don't think it was a red card. The second one, maybe
we have been given for far less.
We have been
No.
Kind of a lot of shit. I don't think we can equate it to that. But just like when you want everything to be done properly and you want to see a correct decision, I don't think that was so bad.
The Cancelo one, if you see, right, like was given at a very early time. Like, so there are like decisions given. It is not like that. Like we have to just see, as I said, like the referees in the UK are not that good. But like if there is a consistency, right, it is better. In the past, right, there will be like inconsistency a lot. For the same thing, right, like many people would have like given different decisions. So that's what the issue earlier. Now at least some consistency is coming there.
That's true.
The red cards which we got this season, there is nothing to like talk about there. Everything was like a stone wall red cards.
But we did have some dodgy decisions, right? Like VAR disallowing a goal, like because the toe was
not
outside.
Related to red cards, right?
No, I'm just saying
about red cards.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, but that inconsistency is what hurts, right? When we get a when we get a yellow card in the first couple of minutes to someone like Xhaka or someone like Gabriel, that's going to impact our game. It might not be a red card, but it is still impacting our game because we are worried that, I mean, we are worried.
Yeah, then those idiots shouldn't like make tackles.
You called he called his favorite CLL an idiot.
Yeah,
people have to note that. but the interesting start. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, speaking about VAR, right? Werner should start liking VAR more. Single up, like he was like in a goal draw, 2 goals, both like disallowed.
But I actually, now that you've brought up Werner, I'm like, yeah, we made a double over Chelsea in our worst season ever. I was literally going like, is this for real? Like we went to Old Trafford and won in Old Trafford by parking the bus. Literally parking the bus. We did nothing in that game. We literally did nothing in that game, and they gifted us one chance. We scored. That's it. That was the ultimate.
Nothing wrong in that. It's at the end of the day, it's the W and the 3 points that matter. No one's gonna go on dissecting like how did you win the game. No, we as fans would be happy with 3 points against a big team. I'm pretty sure all of us would agree. Yeah. It doesn't matter how we play the game or what we do. We've lost a lot of games like trying to play nice football and trying to be attractive.
Yeah.
Yes, we've lost a lot of games. I would take these wins, these dirty wins, any day.
This season, Leicester did the same thing to us. They
Yeah.
had one chance, Vardy scored, and they won. We did the same. I don't know what, like these commentators like saying, nothing. Fuck them.
Yeah,
No.
there was
See
too
how
much
many
hate.
goals we have considered, like because of our mistakes.
Yeah.
We got one in back, like just one back, and for that, like
We could have conceded 1-2 in this game. We made a mistake. We were not punished by that idiot.
Yeah, we
Zaid.
were lucky enough and like, yeah, gladly take the 3 points.
But that you brought it up nicely that about the conceding goals, Ellen. Do you guys know that we are third in the league in the number of goals conceded? Like we have conceded only I think 39 goals, no 43 goals or something, which is like
38, 39.
39, which is only higher than City and Chelsea.
Yeah.
But
So
we should
What do you have
look
to
at
say
the
about that?
stats
All
like,
you,
No.
all you Arteta
Yeah.
output, what do you have to say for that?
No, I'll come back. Arun. Like say, couple of seasons back, right? Couple
Yeah.
of seasons back when City won the title, they had like a goal difference of 72.
Mhm.
Like 95 scored and like 23 conceded.
Yeah.
And even if you take like last 3-4 years pattern also, right? All the teams which are in top 5, top 6, they have a goal difference of 20.
Mhm.
You can see even now in this, the teams
Mhm.
like say West Ham and others, right, who are all like the surprise. You can include Everton also. They are the ones who are having in the range of like say 10 to 15 or 5 to 15.
Mhm.
Like that's the range, like say 7 to 10 or is the range like 5 to 15. Yes, there are 1 or 2 teams who are like having a good defensive record or something. I've gone with like a 16 or a 17 goal difference in top 6. So even though we have conceded less, we haven't scored at all. And our current like goal difference, right, of like plus 12 or 14, like after this match, that clearly shows like where our status is.
No,
A
I'm
proper
not-
mid-table
See,
cup.
I get that, but Deepak, I wanted to bring this to you because why I wanted to bring that point to you is that we have always been complaining about our defense, our defenders not being good enough, and especially with see, David Lewis didn't have a season where he played a lot. We played basically with other defenders like Holding or Gabriel too had a lot of injuries. Mari. So we basically rotated our defenders. We didn't have a back line that was settled. Tierney was out injured for a majority of the season. Our right back was not like we don't know who our first choice right back is. Right. With all this issue, we are still conceded less than a lot of teams. Does
we
this
can like keep on giving like excuses saying
no,
injuries
this
and
is not
stuff.
excuse, right? Like
See,
I'm
it
not
is
giving-
not about like the number of goals conceded and stuff. It is about like the things like in which games we have conceded. See, we have conceded less, but the goals which we have conceded, those are the goals which we lost the game. It's not like we won those games and like by conceding less. We didn't turn those like less goals conceded into points. That's what it matters. See, you are not going to win like you're not going to get like 70 or 80 points just by like conceding 0 goals every 38 games. It doesn't do anything good for you. See, unless the attacking input improves, or let's say like we try to score a goal. See, if you sit back completely, obviously you're going to concede less goals. And the goals which we have conceded is mostly due to the mistakes, like individual mistakes. It's not due to the system, and it is due to the system, but also it is due to the like individual mistakes. So we basically sat back almost every game and we didn't do anything.
Mhm.
So basically the opponent team doesn't have the ball and we just sit back and just give them back and come back at us. So I don't think so. We have improved defensively, but unless it translates into some attacking output, it is useless.
No, but again, if that is the case, right, there is another chart that is going around like of showing where our position is in the league starting from December 26 or of the Chelsea game that we won, which turned our favor. We are second in the table, only to City from that time.
So
So I'm just
we
saying
are
that
8th in the table. We are 9th in the table now. It
No.
doesn't matter.
No, it's just goes to show that we messed everything up before December and we've been decent since December. It's not as bad as people are making it seem. If you really think about it, we are in a position where, like, when was the last time you saw like Arsenal concede less than 40 goals in a season?
Yeah, that's.
I
know.
You're talking about the defense and all
When
that.
is the season
No,
like
no.
Arsenal just scored like 53 goals and
Yes,
have like a
no,
goal
I
difference
agree.
of 14?
I definitely agree. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Arun, like till December, right? Like when we were playing, like say the back three, or like after Partey's injury, like after he came in also, we were like passing the ball like within ourselves. Like we were like set up to not concede a goal at all. See, that is what we were doing. Like say as Arun,
Yeah,
like,
and we succeeded. That is the
not
point.
not exactly. If we had succeeded,
Yeah,
like,
half
at least
succeeded.
the draws, right? At least the draws, right, would have put us in a good position now, considering the second half, whatever you are saying. If you're like second at the table, like in the second half, even if you had considered draws, right, we would have actually done a lot more better. Like the first half, like if you had like, see, I'm okay with the 0-0 draw. 18 or 19 games gives you still the 18-19 points. And the second half is like this, right, would have got you a decent point where you would have got into like a good position. That was not happening. Like, see, nobody will deny that we haven't improved. We have improved a lot. But the issue is like whether it has affected the team is what the question is. Because like once we came out of that only, we started winning. Whether it's a coincidence, I'm not sure. Like before that, like we were just like defending. It improved ours, but like our position, everything was close to relegation at that time. Once we were ready to concede goals and started attacking only, we got into this position, which was in the second half. So actually, whether our defense has improved or whether our team deteriorated because of that. That's what I'm trying to analyze. See, maybe like the team might have like as part of their improvement, right? Like might have not done much during the initial phase also. So I'm not just like saying defense is the reason, concentrating only on the defense. But like I'm just trying to think like until I see something in the next season, right? I cannot directly say that our defense has improved.
Yeah, but also in that sense, like Arun said, right? Like my question is that we like it's a explanation, like it's an extension of what I was saying. We didn't have a regular back four or back three or whatever. We didn't.
See, that was because
we didn't have a center mid. Like right now, tell me who can play if Xhaka is injured, who can play with Partey, or if Partey is injured, who can play with Xhaka? Right? We don't have a center mid.
See, it's like every team is having injury issues. It's not like this. Liverpool is like literally
every
playing
team has
like
decent quality and they have injury issues. So
No.
they have backups that they
Arun,
can.
Liverpool like
Arun.
literally are playing like an 18-year-old kids, and they have considered just like 3 more goals than us. They lost their
that's what
entire
I'm saying.
back four.
If you take a VVD piece out, I know at one point they needed Van Dijk, and that's what changed their entire team, right? And they became like from a good team to a very good, great team of winning titles because of that one guy. Now, over these years with him in the team, they've managed to devise a way to play even if he's not there. So your remaining 10 pieces around this 18-year-old.
It is not just VVD. They lost their entire back four.
I agree, but they did not lose their entire back four for all the time. You know, it was only like certain periods when VVD is gone.
No. Still, if you
Still
take
they
now,
don't have
right, they
their
don't
like
have
first
CBs.
team players.
See, only TAA and Robertson came back. Like the others, right? Like the CBs, nobody is there. Like it was not even like their backup CBs or everything.
That is
Everybody
exactly what
got
I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. You take 4 of the starters out, the remaining 7 are good enough to compensate for that. If you take 2 of our starters out, the remaining are so shit that there's no compensation at all. Everyone makes mistakes. That is
You are saying they're like 18-year-old kids from their academy is like better than like Holding and like Gabriel.
I'm not saying they're better. Again, I'm not saying that 18-year-old kid is better than Holding or Gabby. He might be. But what I'm saying is the people around that 18-year-old are at a way higher level than the people that we have in the team.
TAA is defensively is shit. Everyone knows that.
But
and only Robertson is the one.
But is TAA more shit than Bellerin or Cedric?
They didn't start every single game, Bellerin and Cedric.
Until recently, when Chambers came
TAA
back,
is as shit as Bellerin when it comes to defense.
Yeah, but he gives the offensive output.
Yes, that's
I-
what that's the thing. Like the,
Yeah, then Allison is like having his one of his worst seasons.
and that
See,
is still
it
better
is
than
just
Aaron
like,
Rodgers.
it is just like we are giving excuses for our
No, it's
stupid
not
defense.
It's not an
See,
excuse. It's the base quality, the baseline quality between the two teams that you're trying to compare here, Arsenal and Liverpool, is it's way different. Like they have been
See,
Okay.
the baseline quality
Okay,
is like
okay.
the first team starters. And the
Arsenal,
first team starters when it comes to Liverpool is like Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Matip. You take all three out, and who is like coming in and playing? It is just like some two like 18-year-old kids, and then you play Fabinho in that, and that completely destroys their balance. Still,
Balance.
they have conceded only 42 goals, which is just 3 more than us. It is not like we have completely improved defensively. It is
See,
like we are just keeping the ball and we are not giving the ball and we are not attacking and we are putting 10 men behind. That's why we have conceded less goals. If we start attacking more, we don't know what will happen. That is the point I'm trying to make.
see, one other thing which I want to highlight here is, see, the teams where, like the top teams, right, where we concede more goals, they all, like, say, when we played City, they didn't have KDB, they didn't have Aguero. Even when we played Leicester, Body came and scored that goal, but he was injured and he came at the last 20 minutes. Like the first half of the season, right? Like even with Liverpool, they were all having their injury things. Like they were losing against every team at that time. Like so, it was like that scenario where like we were like playing and we were not conceding. But speaking about like say quality of defense and everything, right? When you try to bring it, see, we all know Wenger is an attacking coach. He doesn't care about defense at all. He will always say like 4-3. The Champions League record which we have, right? We're all with like players who were like not that good defensively. Maybe you can include like Torre alone, but other than that, like nobody is like that good. And Champions League is not like our Premier League. Like it is at a league above that, and like we had a good defensive record there too, with not so good defensive players. So it is not about like players alone always. Sometimes, right, like giving them confidence, playing them regularly. Like it might be forced or it might be this thing, gives that kind of stability. With the Arsenal, right? Like even though we are saying we are defensively good, and if I come and ask you who is the back four, we don't have an answer till now.
See,
That is what, like say, centre back pairing, right? Like from whatever I have seen so far, like if you play them continuously only, they'll become like a big guys. Like say, we don't have like, as you rightly said, we don't have a guy like VVD or somebody who can play with any player. We don't have a guy like that. So in that case, right, you have to form a partnership, and we are not having done that also this season. I thought like we were doing that at the beginning, but then like too many like shuffles for reasons unknown. Like there was no reason. There was like talk like we were not playing Mari for some time, like in the first half of the season when he was doing good, because like he will trigger some class. It might be true or not, but that kind of rumors was what going.
With knowing Arsenal, that would be 100% true.
it was not just injuries like which was like the reason for like not like a settled back pairing. Arteta was like keep on chopping and changing like that center back pairing for I don't know why. What is the reason he did?
Okay,
Maybe
if you
like the
are-
combination which like Lewis plays better with Gabriel or Holding plays better with Mari. Some one or the other thing. We still don't have a settled backline. Even
Okay.
though our defense has improved, which
Let me-
gives
let-
no guarantee.
let
next
me
season.
let me put you all into a spot, right? Right back. Who do you want as our starting right back in Arsenal? In
Given
case we
out
don't
of
sign
these
anything.
three,
We don't sign
Chambers.
anyone.
We have, or are we allowed to pick someone from?
No, we are not. I'm not talking about any signings because with Arsenal we don't know, right?
With
Out of
options
the
we have, I would say Chambers.
Me
Deepak-
too, same. Like out of the three,
Cedric.
Chambers is yeah, Cedric works. No, Cedric plays well with Pepe, so Cedric can play depending on who's playing at the other
See,
side.
Cedric hasn't been given enough chances. He has played like 2 games in RB,
That's
and
true.
he had like been playing like rest
True,
of the
true.
game in like left back, which he is not familiar with. He is like under like unnecessary criticism. That's what I feel.
No. As a left back, right, he did a decent job. Like we
Yes.
cannot deny that.
So
I
over
would
with-
start Cedric. anyone other than Bellerin right now.
How are we to convince PSG to buy Bellerin that here this guy is a good right back here? Have him.
I don't
give
know
him
why
some
they
money.
want to buy him. They have Florenzi and stuff.
I don't know. I don't know if they are going to buy.
Whatever.
So since you guys all mentioned about like how our attacking input was reduced, I wanted to bring up the statistics. Okay, someone has 46 appearances, 14 goals, 6 assists this season.
14 or
And
15?
14 goals, yeah, 14. I think 15. Oh no, 14.
Yeah,
So are you guys now saying that Pepe is going to be our savior for next season?
No.
The savior is
our
different.
season cannot be saved by just one person. It cannot happen. That's
No,
the kind
but-
of
but-
we
but-
have.
Yeah.
But
But
I
Pepe is
answered-
not Bruno Fernandes. Pepe is not Bruno Fernandes.
I
Is,
answered for the question which Picasso asked.
No.
That's it.
No.
There's no chance that you bring in Messi, he's not going to save this team. So no.
the 14 like in Premier League alone or all put together, Europa
put
League,
together.
all
everything?
put together. Yeah, but
And
he didn't.
I
majority
will
of them
say
are-
like
Yeah.
Pepe has performed really well in Europa League. He was really good.
But he didn't
In
get
Premier
chance.
League,
He didn't get a lot of chance in Premier League. If you guys think about it, he didn't get a lot of chance in Premier League.
yeah, but whenever he came, he was shit.
Today he scored 2 goals. Two
Today he
really
scored-
good grand goals.
Today he scored 2 goals in an inconsequential game, which
But
is useless. It's like literally calling stat padding. Like we call Bruno Fernandes stat pads against like all this team. That's what he's doing.
I hate
See.
that guy, Bruno Fernandes, just for the record. I just hate him. I hate him as much as I hate Lingard. As much as I hated Wayne
but
Rooney, I hated Didier Drogba. Like these are the players I hated with all my heart, and Bruno Fernandes had made the list. But Arun, you should be
Drogba
happy
was
about.
a tough one.
Yeah.
Drogba was a tough one. He played for Montreal too, so it was very tough hating him at that point.
but Arun, like you must be happy with Pepe's numbers though, and that second, like even last season he had similar numbers.
Yeah.
So are you happy that he's proving you right? Or are you
I
seeing-
am. I honestly, as much as I like gloat over every Pepe's goal or assist every time we have a podcast, I would like his output to be much better because of the 72 million tag that we have. We would definitely, if we buy someone for 72 million, we'd expect him to score 20 goals in the league alone. That's the kind of expectations that you would have from someone like Pepe. But unfortunately, he's not been able to do it. It could be like due to a lot of factors. Maybe like he's not good enough. Of course, 72 million is very few players in this world are worth 72 million. He wasn't. Maybe like that was like a huge mistake on our part. But given how he's performed and given the fact that he also performed similar way towards the end of last season, I would only hope that he gets more chances next season. Rather than like letting this go and not providing him with chances, not starting him at the beginning. I would hope that this would convince Arteta to give him like more chances at the beginning. And hopefully if we do sign a good right back who can overlap, it's not about unlocking Pepe. I don't want to use that term again. It's so cliche. How do we unlock Pepe? By now we should be knowing how to unlock Pepe. If we're not able to unlock him by now, then he's not like at the place where we think he is, and he's not like someone worth unlocking really. So if we really want him to perform, then we need to give him more chances. And that's, like I said, I hope that we get a good right back who overlaps and he gets his chances. Stat padding, of course, he's like scoring these against smaller teams, right? So in Europa, we're not facing like a Manchester City or a Liverpool or a Chelsea. Europa League quality is very different, and we still managed to fuck it up. That's another discussion. But even in those games, he did manage to get these things. Players like him thrive on confidence. Mm-hmm. When he gets going and when he has a good game, or when he scores a goal, the very next game you might notice that he might not do fuck all for the 90 minutes, but he'll come up with a goal or something. And if he doesn't do anything throughout the game and it doesn't affect our chances, and if he's able to pull off a goal that could save us, I think that should be what people should be expecting from him, like rather than now, especially now that we know for sure that he's not worth 72 million, we should lower our expectations instead of like calling him out every time. We know he's not worth 72. We have him in our team. We're not going to be able to sell him, and that's obvious. So instead of saying like Pepe is useless every time, he's not worth 72, which is a known fact. He's not worth 72. That's known. Everyone, we don't need like a genius or someone with like great financial sense to come and tell us that Pepe is not worth 72 million. 3 seasons and he's shown. So like, I think the only option that we have right now is reducing our expectations and hoping he plays well.
The problem with Pepe I have is it's not about his output or goals or anything or even his price tag. It is his gameplay. It is pretty much useless for us. He hogs the ball every single time. He slows down everything every single
Counter
time.
slow down with him, yeah.
See, it was like a wrong signing for us. I never celebrated signing Pepe. He is a player who thrives under a very good counter-attacking team, which we are not. We are zero in that. So it is not a mistake on his part. He didn't, a slight mistake maybe. He didn't improve himself. Every single time I see him.
Now, if you think about it,
Go ahead.
he's never going to play like a 72 million player. But if you talk about improvement, I believe that he's improved a lot. Like, of course, he hogs on the ball. I understand all that you're saying. I've seen him. I get frustrated when he gets the ball because he's not a real ball carrier, but he's being made to act as a ball carrier from the midfield, from our mid-third, the second third. And he slows the play down. Every counter, before it used to stop at Xhaka, now all the counters are stopping with Pepe. I totally understand. It's just the improvement part. I definitely feel that he's improved.
He has like every
until
single
he
time
gets
when I
good
see him, he is like about to trip himself. I don't know what he is doing.
No.
Ellen,
Arun,
go
like,
ahead.
talking about his improvement, right? He has improved defensively. Like, but again, that is to the way like Arteta wants him to play, or like the area where Arteta wants him to improve. But like, if attacking time, right, he's still one-dimensional. Like, or like the opponent teams, right, know what Pepe is going to do when he gets the ball. Always he's going to do some things only, and like that is what like they are.
But sometimes when he does what he does, he scores a goal like today, where he runs through the middle. He scores a goal like today.
Robin was a one-trick pony. I'm not comparing Robin and Pepe here. Robin was a one-trick pony. He survived at the highest stage for like more than a decade.
No. I'm not saying that like. No, I'm not saying that like he's not good or anything. Like, see, again, as Deepak said correctly, we cannot have like a one-dimensional player when he's our only output. Like, say, there was a period like where he was the only output. See, leave Saka or others. See, Laka was like not doing good. Auba and like Pepe were the players we were like trying our hope on. Like, such a kind of player, right? We cannot have them like, say, as like a one-dimensional person.
Talking about Laka,
even now, right? You give him space for his left-footed kick, like he'll score a goal. He's really good, like even from long range or anything. It is good to have such a kind of person, but like we need other players to make him click. That's the problem we have. I don't have any issues with the Stag, or I don't have any issues like this thing. He's a good asset for us, provided like there are other people like we have all talked, like he's not like say a Bruno or like a KDP like who can single-handedly change the game. He cannot do that.
But Ellen, you actually touched upon the point. I was about to ask you about like Lacazette being frozen out, right? Like he was having a good run of games, and then suddenly now he's nowhere near.
See, the problem there is like with Arteta's game style and everything, right? We can always have one striker.
Yeah.
And now by you are paying that much, he has to play. No other option.
But
Does
that mean that we are not going to extend Laka's contract and try and sell him?
Probably.
See, the best thing will be like to sell both Auba and Laka and find somebody like who will suit our game style now. Because like see, Auba not going for headers or like he's not going to score means like for the price tag like he has, right? Like or the salary cap, you can get somebody good, like you can pay him like who's going to like do well. See, I know Werner is a flop in Chelsea, but like a guy like him, right, for the way we are playing now, will be really useful.
He is like good what he does, except for like scoring goals. Chelsea's gameplay is completely around him.
Yeah, he brings a lot of other players to score goals. Like he actually does that. He just misses like
Yeah, I can't
So-
imagine the stuff he missed. He would have been killed by now by Arsenal if he was playing in Arsenal.
So Laka Werner swap, Ellen?
And
Like
no
I
way
said-
they are giving
Chelsea
it.
will not accept that at all.
Even we can take the Tammy Abraham. He is decent enough.
He is good too. Tammy is good too.
But talking about goals again, Deepak, Villak has scored in six goals in 6 games. So is Villak going to be our answer to our midfield problems? Like no
Everyone wants
Ceballos.
him to be the answer. I was never impressed with him. I don't know what happened to him. Like when he moved to Newcastle and he started scoring goals. But
And his
I
goals
don't
are
want.
good. I've been looking at his goals, and his goals have been good. Not just like those goals, his gameplay has been good. He has been playing well. If you consider like the other Loney, which is AMN and him, he has been actually not just scoring goals. He has been having a good partnership. He has been making runs, and he has been doing a lot more than what was
Okay.
expected.
So like the thing is, he is scoring goals for Newcastle. Do we want to be like Newcastle?
But
Or
he is
do we want to move to the next step? Do
No,
we
but-
want him to be a starter?
but
No
he
way.
is scoring goals for Newcastle against Manchester City, against big teams. So he's not scoring goals against like just small teams, right?
Okay.
And playing for Newcastle, which means he doesn't have that many chances. He doesn't have like a great gameplay around him, and he's scoring goals. Maybe around when he comes to Arsenal, when there is more game built around, or like when we have better players, he'll score more goals.
And no way you will score that many goals with Arsenal. For sure. I can
Deepak,
write and give it.
Deepak, Ceballos or Willock?
Yeah, anyone other than Ceballos. That's it. Simple. It's the same with those two Spanish guys. Anyone other than those two. Ceballos and Bellerin. That's it.
Ellen, what are your takes on Villak? Do you want him back, or do we cash in on him?
See, it again depends. Like, if you remember, like in our old pods or like when we talk, like I always said, like Villak has the ability, but like he's not physically like capable.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen his recent games, like because I was always of the opinion he should be loaned to a Premier League club only and not Championship or other things, because his physical ability is what he needs to improve. If he has improved that, right, I will have him as a backup for next season. But if he hasn't improved that, right, it's better to cash in now, because like scoring 6 goals, like it's a record also, Premier League record for
Yep.
doing it at a very young age.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy. And there were even like talks about like he missed the penalty, like
that's
because
To score
not to
a
get
goal.
like goals like Bruno. Like Bruno, we always say like he's a penalty guy. So to have his more field goals tally. But one good thing there is, like, even though they have a specific penalty taker, Willock was able to convince him and he took that penalty. That was, I think, the second penalty in the team, and like he went and took it.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows like he's been valued there, which is like really good. And speaking about AMN, right, you just touched upon,
Yeah.
even the great Sam, right, has told him, don't play in midfield, play in right back.
So everyone was right.
I don't
about
see
him.
Sam, I don't think Sam gives good advice, but he himself has given him a good advice to him.
But I don't think Ayman is not is coming back to
He
Arsenal.
won't.
We don't.
He will not. I think he spoiled his career itself. Like he will again try to find some club where he can play midfield only. In a right back, right? Like he can play in many teams, even like decent teams. But like as a right midfielder or like any midfielder, he's not going to have any career scope.
No, for the amount of ball losing that he does, I cannot like pinpoint one position on the football pitch where I can place him. You put him in midfield, he's losing the ball. You put him in left back, he's losing the ball. Right back, he loses the ball. It's not just losing the ball, it's the way in which he loses the ball that pisses me off, knowing that the casual look on his face. Like, it annoys me to know, because you are playing for a club that where you grew up, you're supposed to be like having all those qualities, you know. Is this what was taught to you in the academy, or is this what playing for Arsenal really means for you? Or do you think you're that good that you can make a no-look pass and then give the ball away easily to an opposition player? Those things bother me about AMN. Like, cause he's got a lot of spirit, a very good attitude, but it's just this thing, his ability.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back to Arsenal. Or
No.
I think he
No,
will
no,
be
we'll
sold.
definitely sell him.
Yeah.
Definitely sold or like loan him. Like if we don't get any.
Yeah, I
person
think,
to buy.
but I still think that Willock has a chance with us, because he forms the three in Saka, ESR,
Emily Smith Rowe
and Willock, and I think
Willock will be a backup. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
won't
but-
like start him ahead of ESR.
No,
or
no.
You won't start him ahead of like Partey or Saka.
No, but he
No,
would
he's
be
a backup.
if
That's
if
what like it's clear.
if we
See,
are going to go into the
if you are
conference.
getting like 25 million and he would be a backup, what would you do? You would just like sell him and go. That's it.
Yeah,
That
but
depends on who we are trying to get as well, right? Of course, we need a backup for Partey, but if you think about it, this guy, we need a backup for our Xhaka as well, because Mo at best is like a fifth choice center midfielder. He's not going to start your game. He's not good enough to be a backup. Otherwise, he'll just keep doing things like what he did today in the game. Like, when there's an opportune moment for sending a forward pass, he'll just turn around and give a back pass. So, and
Yeah,
we
it's-
know that as much
especially,
as we
right?
think with Sander Berge and like Bissouma, we're not going to get both of them. It's only going to be either one or like neither of the two, given that like this has always happened with Arsenal before, and we're still chasing guys like Benzema and Jan Mbia. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get
Jan Mbia, wow.
Yeah, that's where I think like Willock would be a good backup for someone like Partey.
Yeah, and
And
also
he's
like he's young. He could be a backup. He doesn't have to start.
I'm not saying he'll have the same impact, but in terms of numbers and in terms of players, I think we would have a better option with Willock in the team rather than going for someone else.
We can give like Willock and some cash for Bissouma to Brighton.
See, that's a different thing. Like you are getting a player for him, that's a different thing. But like, see, again, we also need homegrown Kota too. He fits in there too. Like so, and like say, we cannot trust Xhaka and Partey alone for the entire season. Like
No
we
way.
need backups
Never.
for sure. That's what we need, backups for sure. And Willock is somebody like with less wage and everything, and like he's a decent enough backup. Like provided his fitness is good. Like because even in the games where he has struggled this time, right? He has the skill and everything. It's just like he doesn't have the physical presence.
Yeah. Also the whole concept of like we might not make into Europe or right, but we might make into the Conference League or whatever the new thing is called. So we do need a squad big enough to play into the Conference League, and I don't want any of our first teamers to travel to some place that I cannot pronounce. Right? I could send like the youth team, like send over like
No.
this.
Conference cup should be treated as our Mickey Mouse Cup, which
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger used to do.
Yeah.
Play your under 19 there. Find
Yeah.
out who are all are capable of like playing in Europe and everything. Get those players onboarded to your first team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So in that case, Willock would be the person who would be sent. Like you go there, play the Conference League, right? Like play the Conference League, and Balogun or whoever, right? The striker.
Pepe.
Pepe will shine in Conference.
That Conference League is a very small pool for a big fish like Pepe. He'll destroy teams in the Conference League.
That's what like he'll come back with like 40-50 goals a season.
We can finally say he's worth 72 million.
For winning the Conference League. Will we even win the Conference League?
Yeah, if we win the Conference League, it's good. It's a recognized European trophy.
Yes, we have a European trophy.
That's it.
Yes.
First European trophy.
We
for
haven't won
Arsenal.
any European trophy, so we can win that.
First European trophy is Conference League for Arsenal. Fuck that shit. Seriously. But anyways, let's go ahead with like the next game, because that's going to be the last game of the season, and we are in a very, very different situation than what I thought initially. Right? We might still finish in 9th. We might still finish 8th, 7th. So we don't know what is.
I don't think so. 7th, I don't think.
If
that's
Everton
possible
loses,
anymore.
if Everton loses and we win, and also like if
Tottenham
Tottenham
loses,
loses,
we will finish
we'll
seventh.
finish
And
7th.
West Ham. Oh, West Ham have already
No,
gone
West
above
Ham
us.
would be 6th in that case, and we'll be 7th. If Everton Spurs loses and we win, we'll be 7th.
Yeah.
But so that is where we are. That's the best. Like last season we finished 8th, and this season we would finish anywhere between 7th and 9th, which is almost the same as last season, even after the disastrous start we had. And we made headway into the Europa League. Last season we didn't go as far as this season, right? Or did we? Olympiacos.
No, we lost as soon as Arteta took over for the knockouts.
Yeah, so that is just the quarterfinals or before that.
Round of 16. Round of 16.
Round
Round of
16,
16.
round of 16.
Yeah, so this time we made it to semifinals. So
Next time, finals and cup.
Conference Cup, Conference League, whatever that is. But last season we won the FA Cup. So to put everything into perspective, where do you guys think it is right now? Like, do you guys think we are at the same position? We lost a lot of ground, or do you guys think that we have made progress?
Nothing. It's the same shit.
See, we were mid-table club last season. We were mid-table club this season also. See, just like
question
looking at like Leicester and Chelsea game, right? Like they were having a big fight at the end of the game.
Yeah.
See, that is because like that much passion they have for the top 4 or like Champions League and everything. Our guys, right? Like they doesn't even play that important games like with a passion. So I don't even know where to rate this team, to be honest. Like whether they can fight in the future or whether like they are going to go down, nothing is clear with this team.
Also, before we finish, Arun, actually, I wanted to talk to you all about this. Like Arteta during the interviews was like after last Chelsea game, he was very angry about how his statements were misrepresented in the media. Did you guys see that? And I didn't feel it was misrepresented. He said that. He said that the players didn't give 100%. And then he comes back and says like, no, I didn't say that. They've always given me 100%.
You cannot even call it a translation issue.
Yeah.
Speaking in English.
Yeah.
No, it is like after that, right? Arteta out came into a lot outside. So this is a statement to reduce that. He's the interview merchant, right? He's coming back and trying to.
He screwed that as well.
but there was this interesting word or usage of word that I found I was very interested about, was that when he mentioned I will be backing these players until the time I'm here. So is that a cryptic message that he might get the sack soon?
There are chances like.
It's the other way around.
Unless he really screws up the first 10 games of the next season and we find ourselves like 15th with nothing happening, I don't see him like getting the sack, because the manager probably knows that like they do not have any other good options available, and like sacking the manager is not the way to go. And then they from the news that we're hearing, though I would take it with a grain of salt, it does seem like the club wants to invest in new players. The management does want to invest. So given that all that, I don't think he's going to be like kicked out as soon as we think.
The thing is like if we have
side.
the same start as like this season we had, there will be like a lot of pressure on it. The fans will be back in the stadium as well.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He hasn't faced that yet.
Not yet.
This weekend he is going to face it. This weekend is a home game for us.
See, if he loses this Brighton game, I don't know what reaction it will be.
There are two things to see here, Picasso. He said like he'll back them until he's here, which means he might not sign anyone also.
Which is not surprising at all to me.
No. It is sure that like he's going to be available for sure. See, speaking about the owners, right? Like because signing relates to our owners, you saw what Man City did. Now, like they are going to take their fans to like Portugal because of the change.
Yeah, Kroenke will say like if we went to the finals, we will also take. We would have.
We
also
went to
taken...
Europa. No, we went to Europa Liga final, like where they didn't even do any help.
No, but he would have said like Champions League final, I would have taken you. That's what
my
Kroenke will say.
No. My part was like, is it because for City that's a big achievement? because like City as a club.
Oh,
like,
and for us,
like,
Europa League
that's
final
okay.
is nothing.
No, that's a different thing. No. Let me finish it.
Europa
Whether it is
League final
because
is too small. We'll only play Champions League.
no, or is it because of this Super League, whatever they were trying to form, they came out like they want to like have like some relationship back with the fans. They are doing this because if that is the case, right? Even Stan needs to do something. Maybe he will allow us some transfer funds.
We should, or else at least at the bare minimum, like give us all a sponsored tour to the to the Emirates Stadium. Like, please, everyone who is listening to this podcast, tweet about us to Stan, so that at least we four will get the ticket.
No, Stan will definitely do. What he'll say is like, I'll sponsor all the Indian people to come there when the flights are banned and everything, so that he will say like, I have given you a chance, but like the government didn't allow.
But I can do it. All three of us could do it. Like,
No.
Arun,
No, that's
UK,
why
you
he'll say.
cannot go. You cannot travel back from UK.
So you'll probably sponsor us for the next year or so if we could stay there, live there. But anyways, coming back to the game about like the last game, right? Brighton. Arun, predict a loss. What's the score line you're going to predict?
We'll lose 3-1.
3-1. Good. Ellen.
See, it's the final home game of the season. I hope like we win by even 1-0. I'm okay. Like we should win.
Okay. Deepak, do you see
1-1.
More realistic prediction. See,
Hey,
but the
it's a home
problem is,
game. I am not expecting us to win a home game.
But with fans in. But with fans in.
As if these fans like cheer every shit. They will just know to boo.
see, it is going to be Koranke out or like Arteta out on that
nothing
day.
else we
You
can do.
don't have to worry at all.
Okay, I'm predicting a win. I'm predicting a 2-0 win against Brighton. So hopefully we'll meet after the end of the season.
Question is,
yeah.
before that, what is the question? Arteta out or Arteta in?
that we will answer after the end of the season. Yeah.
Okay.
After the end of the season. That is going to be answered after the end of the season. But it's been nice fun. Yeah, go ahead, Arun.
No, I was just about to say my answer would be I don't know. So I'll give you my answer right away.
I am still like Arteta in only.
I
still
mean, like,
stand with my thing. 10
I'm
games.
on the fence, more Arteta in than Arteta out, because I believe he should get another chance.
Come on, you guys are ruining the surprise. This is how we have to talk about this for so many points after this. Now the season's over. This is all we are going to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next 3 months.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining in today. It has been a nice pod. Hopefully we'll meet after a victory. Bye-bye.
Bye.